Eala just did the unthinkable. From 1-5 down to 6-0 in the final set, the Filipina superstar has stunned the world number 3 and made history. The rain stole her momentum on Sunday. But she came back with a vengeance. What started as a rain-soaked nightmare turned into the greatest victory of her career. Down 2-1 in the second set with the final suspended, Eala regrouped. And when play resumed, she delivered a performance that will be remembered for generations. Is this the greatest comeback in WTA 500 final history? The skies over Washington had been threatening all day. By noon, the clouds had won. And the moment Eala had been waiting for her entire life suddenly hung in the balance. The $1.6 million DC Open final between Eala and Jessica Pegula was supposed to be the crowning achievement of a historic week. The Filipina sensation had already conquered an Olympic gold medalist, a defending champion, a world number 10, and a 4-time Grand Slam winner just to reach this stage. Now, the world know. 3 stood between her and a place in tennis history, but Mother Nature had other plans. The chaos began with the first weather report of the day. Scattered thunderstorms forced tournament officials to delay the final by 3 hours, pushing the scheduled noon start back to 3 p.m. local time. Filipino fans who had traveled from across the East Coast, from New York, Virginia, Maryland, and beyond, crowded the gates of Rock Creek Park, waiting with Philippine flags and unmistakable hope. They had waited all week for this moment. They would wait a little longer. When play finally began, the humidity was suffocating. The conditions were brutal, smothering heat and thick air that made every rally a battle of endurance. Both players struggled to find their rhythm, but it was Pegula, the top seed and 2019 DC Open champion, who made the steadier start. The American, who had already beaten Eala in a grueling 3-set semifinal at the 2025 Miami Open, knew exactly how to handle the Filipinas' left-handed patterns. The first set was a war of attrition. Eala had the better of the early exchanges, at one point pushing Pegula to a 4-3 lead. But the world number 3 responded like a champion. She broke Eala's serve twice and closed out the set 6-4 in 40 minutes. The numbers told the story of Pegula's early edge. She converted 2 of her 3 breakpoint opportunities and dominated the most important exchanges. But champions don't fold. And Eala is a champion. The 21-year-old from Quezon City emerged with renewed purpose in the second set. She held her first 2 service games and moved ahead 2-1, not facing a single breakpoint in the set. She won 80% of her first serve points before play was paused, a clear statement that she had found her rhythm and her confidence. The Filipina sensation was just beginning to build momentum when the skies opened again. And then, the rain came again. At 3:57 p.m. local time, the skies opened. Thunder rumbled in the distance. Lightning flashed near the Rock Creek Park Tennis Center. The players rushed off the court. The match had been underway for just 57 minutes. Neither woman had faced a breakpoint in the second set. Eala had been building something, and the storm had stolen at her chance to complete the comeback. The delay stretched from minutes into hours. Tournament officials tried everything to dry the court, but the weather refused to cooperate. After more than 5 hours of intermittent heavy rain and storms, with scattered thunderstorms continuing through the evening, the decision was made at 9:06 p.m. The final would be postponed until Monday at noon. For Eala, the moment was surreal. She had arrived in Washington as a rising star ranked world number 28. She had stormed through a field of champions, defeating Zhang Qinwen, Leylah Fernandez, Elina Svitolina, and Naomi Osaka, to reach her first WTA 500 final. She had stood toe-to-toe with the world no. 3. But now, the weather had forced her to wait. The rain had tried to deny her. But history, like the weather, can't be controlled. And when play resumed, Eala would be ready. The rain had finally stopped. The courts were dry. And Jessica Pegula stepped onto the court with the look of a woman who had been here before. A champion in Washington in 2019. A veteran of Grand Slam finals. A player who had already beaten Eala once before on the biggest stage. From the very first point, the world number 3 made her intentions clear. She had studied Eala's game since their Miami Open semifinal 18 months earlier. a grueling three-set battle that had ended Eala's breakthrough run. She knew exactly what made the Filipina dangerous: the lefty serve that stays low, the ability to draw crowds that could be heard from hotel rooms, the fearlessness that had carried her through a field of champions. The American had prepared for this challenge. She had watched Eala closely since their Miami meeting and acknowledged that the Filipino had grown significantly as a player. "Everyone has a little more of a grip on how she plays now," Pegula had said before the final. "I've been watching her ever since Miami, and she's gotten a lot better, more experienced, playing really good tennis." On the court, that preparation paid off immediately. Both players took care of their service games early, with Eala edging ahead 2-1 after 3 comfortable holds. The Filipina then applied early pressure on Pegula's serve in the 4th game, earning her first break point of the match. But the American erased the threat to level the set at 2-2. The turning point came in the 5th game. Pegula responded by creating a break opportunity of her own, converting it to secure the first service break of the contest. Eala, however, wasted little time answering back, immediately breaking serve before backing it up with a composed hold in the 7th game to reclaim the advantage at 4-3. Eala continued to pressure Pegula's serve in the 8th game, creating 2 breakpoint opportunities. But the American came up with timely serving to escape with a crucial hold. Then, she flipped the script. The 2024 U.S. Open runner-up earned 2 breakpoints in the 9th game before converting the decisive break to move in front, 5-4. Ultimately, a hold of serve in the 10th game gave her a 1-set advantage. The numbers told the story of Pegula's early edge. She converted 2 of her 3 breakpoint opportunities, while Eala went just 1 for 4. Pegula also dominated on second serve, winning 7 of 13 such points, while Eala managed only 3 of 9. Despite the narrow scoreline, Pegula's ability to absorb Eala's left-handed patterns and redirect the ball early had given the world number 3 a clear edge in the most important exchanges. Pegula's history in Washington gave her an extra edge. She had won her first career WTA title at this very tournament in 2019, defeating Camila Giorgi in the final. The memories of that breakthrough had stayed with her. "For me, getting that monkey off my back, being able to do it at a tour level for the first time, was great," Pegula had reflected earlier in the tournament. "It's been extremely gratifying. This is what you work for, to win tournaments." Now she was 1 set away from a second DC Open title. But the reign had other plans. And Eala, the 21-year-old who had already conquered 4 champions to get here, was far from finished. The first set had slipped away. The world number 3 had seized control. And for a moment, the dream of a title felt like it was slipping away from Alex Eala. But then, something shifted. And the Filipina sensation began to fight back. The final resumed on Monday with Pegula leading 6-4, 1-2, and Eala serving in the second set. The American had controlled the first set with her experience and consistency, converting 2 of her 3 breakpoint opportunities, while Eala went just 1 for 4. Despite the narrow scoreline, Pegula's ability to absorb Eala's left-handed patterns and redirect the ball early had given the world number 3 a clear edge in the most important exchanges. But champions don't fold, and Eala is a champion. The 21-year-old from Quezon City emerged with renewed purpose in the second set. She held her first 2 service games and moved ahead 2-1, not facing a single breakpoint in the set. She won all 7 points played behind her first serve in the second set and 9 of 13 service points overall. It was a clear statement that she had found her rhythm and her confidence. The statistics painted a picture of a player who was just beginning to find her groove. That momentum improvement offered Eala a path back into the match before rain and nearby lightning interrupted her momentum. The players left Stadium Court after just 55 minutes of play, with neither woman having faced a breakpoint in the second set. Eala had been building something, and the storm had stolen her chance to complete the comeback. The Filipina sensation had already proven she could fight back from deficits. Just days earlier, she had been down 1-5 in the second set against defending champion Leylah Fernandez before reeling off 6 straight games to complete a stunning 6-2, 7-6 victory. She had also come back from a set and a breakdown against Olympic gold medalist Jung Chin-wen in the first round. The fighting spirit that had carried her through 4 champions was still there, waiting to be unleashed. Eala had every reason to believe she could complete the comeback. She had already shown she could handle the pressure of a big stage. Her victory over Naomi Osaka in the semifinals had come in just 76 minutes, as she kept the 4-time Grand Slam winner off balance with her clean ball striking and consistent depth. She had broken Osaka's serve 4 times in 12 opportunities, committing just 18 unforced errors to Osaka's 34. "I could never count her out," Eala had said after that victory when asked about Osaka. "I made it a point to stay completely locked in from start to finish. Even now, I'm still in competition mode. I think I need a little time before everything really sinks in." The rain had given her time to reset, regroup, and refocus. When play resumed, she would have another chance to show the world what she was made of. And if her track record was any indication, she would be ready. The rain was still falling, the thunder was still rumbling, and Alex Eala sat in the locker room waiting for the storm to pass. But unlike most players, she wasn't frustrated. She had been here before. The Filipina sensation had spoken openly in the past about how she handles the mental challenge of rain delays. The waiting, the uncertainty, the loss of momentum. "You never fully let go," she had said about staying locked in during interruptions, even while trying to rest. It was a mindset that had served her well throughout her career, and it was about to be tested again in the biggest match of her life. The storm had come at a crucial moment. Eala was just beginning to find her rhythm against Pegula. After dropping a tight first set 6-4, she had responded with renewed purpose. She held her first 2 service games and moved ahead 2-1, not facing a single breakpoint in the second set. She won all 7 points played behind her first serve in the set and 9 of 13 service points overall. The momentum was shifting. But the rain had stolen her chance to complete the comeback. The delay stretched from minutes into hours. At 3:57 a.m. in Manila, the skies opened and forced the players off the court. The match had been underway for just 55 minutes. Neither woman had faced a breakpoint in the second set. The title was still up for grabs, and the delay had given Eala time to reset, regroup, and refocus. "I think I just have to trust myself," Eala had said before the final. "I'm in the final for a reason. Jessica is also in the final for a reason. So I think it's going to be a really good match." The Filipina had already proven she could handle the pressure of a big stage. Her semifinal victory over Naomi Osaka had come in just 76 minutes. She had kept the 4-time Grand Slam winner off balance with her clean ball striking and consistent depth. She had broken Osaka's serve 4 times in 12 opportunities, committing just 18 unforced errors to Osaka's 34. "I could never count her out," Eala had said after that victory. "I made it a point to stay completely locked in from start to finish. Even now, I'm still in competition mode." The delay had tested her patience, but Eala had not let it break her concentration. She had already conquered 4 champions to get to this final. She had come back from a set and a breakdown against Olympic gold medalist Jung Chin-wen. She had fought back from 1-5 against defending champion Leylah Fernandez. She had dismantled world number 10 Elina Svitolina and 4-time Grand Slam winner Naomi Osaka. The fighting spirit that had carried her through 4 champions was still there, waiting to be unleashed. When play resumed, she would be ready. The rain had finally stopped, the courts were dry, and after nearly 9 hours of delays, the stage was finally set for the final chapter of a story that had already become legendary. Every player approaches a rain delay differently. Some lose focus, some grow restless. But the break had given Eala exactly what she needed: time to reset, not to panic. She had spoken before about the mindset required to handle these interruptions. And as she walked back onto the court, she carried that calm with her. Her rhythm had been building before the storm, and she wasn't about to let a few hours of rain wash it away. The players resumed with Pegula leading 6-4, 1-2, and Eala serving in the second set. The American had controlled the first set with her experience and consistency, converting 2 of her 3 breakpoint opportunities, while Eala went just 1 for 4. Despite the narrow scoreline, Pegula's ability to absorb Eala's patterns and redirect the ball early had given the world number 3 a clear edge in the most important exchanges. But the second set was a different story. Eala held her opening service games confidently and edged ahead 2-1. She won 80% of her first serve points before play was paused, a clear statement that she had found her rhythm and her confidence. The Filipina sensation was beginning to dictate play, forcing Pegula to defend rather than attack. The tension in Rock Creek Park was palpable. When the players returned, the momentum that Eala had been building before the storm was still there. She had regrouped, she had refocused, and she was determined to complete the greatest week of her career. The pair remained on serve until 4-4, but then Eala took control. She broke Pegula's serve in the 10th game to level the match at 1 set apiece. The crowd erupted. Philippine flags waved everywhere. The roar was deafening. The momentum had shifted completely. And then came the masterclass. The anticipated tense finish never materialized. Instead, Eala completely dismantled the American in the third set. Playing with relentless aggression and unwavering confidence, she overwhelmed a shell-shocked Pegula, winning 6 straight games to secure the biggest victory of her career and officially crown herself a WTA Tour champion. She sealed the championship on her first championship point, completing a stunning comeback from 2-1 down in the second set to a 6-0 final set. The final score read 4-6, 6-4, 6-0. The trophy was in her hands, and an entire nation erupted in celebration. She had arrived in Washington as a rising star. She left it as a champion, the first Filipina to capture a WTA